Hello, welcome to Lessons Learned. I'm Charles Weathers. On today's segment, we're going to talk about the decision-making pathway. As leaders, managers, supervisors, even parents and community members, we all have one thing in common. We're always making a decision. Tough decisions, challenging decisions, sometimes game-changing decisions. Well, there's a path to decision-making, and I'm going to talk about that today and share some lessons I learned over the years that might help you as you make your decisions in your journey ahead. We appreciate it, and I hope you get something out of today's lessons learned. Enjoy. So what happens between the decision and the desired outcome? Take a look at the visual in front of you. Do you think it looks like this? You make a decision, and then it's smooth sailing, a straight line right to the desired outcome. Well, I have to tell you, no, not quite. Can this happen? Sure. Anything can happen. But my experience tells me this is the exception, not the rule. I want you to look at this visual for a moment. Because if you are in a leadership or management position, chances are this may be the last time you will see so much clear space and alignment between the decision point and the moment you reach the desired outcome. If this is your expectation, you will set yourself up for unnecessary disappointment and pain. Again, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to be a downer. I am trying to prepare you. Sure, there can be a straight line that takes you right from the decision to the desired outcome, but that seldom happens. There's a thought out there that some people have, which is this. Great decision makers are people who make decisions and get what they want. And there may be some truth to that, but let me tell you what I like to consider is this. Great decision makers are people who make decisions, they push through the journey, they see it through, they learn from those decisions, and continue to use those lessons to improve upon their decisions going forward. So if decision making does not always look like this, what does it look like? I believe this is a pretty good representation of the typical decision-making journey. Here's why this is important to understand. We make a decision, something doesn't go as planned, and people will typically say, I must have made the wrong decision. No, don't go there. I want to encourage you not to go there. You can make a decision, have all the information you want, and still have bumps in the road. You see, no decision is truly a complete decision because once you make the decision and begin the journey, you immediately expose yourself to new information, new factors, and unknowns that weren't even on your radar screen. You're always receiving more data, and you have to consider the impact of external forces. So as you can see in this visual, decision making has some twists and some turns, some bumps in the road before you reach the desired outcome. One of the keys to decision making, I believe, is the ability or the will to see it through. Sure, some decisions you may start along the journey and decide, you know what, this is wrong, and just cut it off altogether. But typically decisions, they go through different evolutions until you reach the desired outcome. Take a look at the visual. You see those bends in the road. Those are course corrections. You start traveling, you get a little bit off course. Oh, well, let's correct. Let's come back down. Oh, look at us. What did we just do? We overcorrected. Then we have to come back up again. And we're going through these cycles of up and downs and up and downs. And as you can see, the further right you go, we begin to funnel in and get more clarity along the way. But that clarity did not come immediately. It took a few course corrections along the way. Those X's that you see on the visual, those are what I call ejection points. These are moments where people may decide, wrong decision or bad decision, however they would like to frame it, and just abandon it, eject, let it go. Ejection is not a bad thing, and course correction is not a bad thing. Take away that binary choice of good or bad when it comes to decisions. Just realize if we're going to eject, let it be an informed decision. Let's make that decision based on some information. But let's also consider, before we push the button and abandon this decision, can we course correct? Can we take a different route? Can we modify something we decided along the way? Every time you see a bend in the road, every time you see an opportunity to either eject or continue, those are also what I consider teachable moments. These are times where we can consider, what are the lessons that we're learning right here. Decision making is a journey. It's a process. And along the journey, along the process, please take the time to learn the lessons. See, going back to that earlier visual, if decision making was a simple straight line that we made the decision and we got what we wanted, we would learn very few lessons. So this obstruction, disruption, challenges and ups and downs, that's part of the leadership journey. That's part of the decision journey. These are moments for us to learn along the way. So look for opportunities to course correct before you abandon and eject. And if you do let the decision go, if you do abandon it, make sure you make an informed decision if at all possible. But if you can, see it through, learn the lessons, and reach your desired outcome. That's the beauty of decision making. Sure, you want the desired outcome, but the journey along the way, that's where the real lessons are learned. That's where the real moments happen, and we should capture those. Notice the Insight 1 and Insight 2 at the bottom of the visual. Those are some milestones in your decision-making process when you really begin to see the light, so to speak. You really gain some insight. You're really starting to figure this thing out. And those are, quite frankly, for me, celebratory moments in some cases. Let's face it, some of us are in moments where the decisions we're making, the true outcome may not manifest for months down the line, maybe even years. Everything is not an immediate decision. Sometimes there's a long-term impact, a long-term outcome we're looking for. But these insights that we get along the way, they're really clarifying moments, and they let us know that we're on the right track, and they let us begin to see how our resources and our energy and our team and our efforts are all beginning to coalesce and come together. Those are moments where we should pause, we should celebrate, we should say, we should thank people, we should remind ourselves we're making progress, we're moving along the way. One thing that can derail your decision making is, especially if it's an outcome that takes a while to reach, people can get fatigued. They get worn out. They can get discouraged even. So we have to remind them, hey, we've not reached the final destination. We've not reached the final outcome, but look at what we've learned so far. Look at the progress that we've made so far. Look at what we've done so far. Please take time to remember that. Please take time to do that. Folks, the bottom line is this. Decision making is very rarely a straight line from point A to point B. You're going to have to course correct. There may even be moments where you eject and say, we have to abandon this and do something different. Either way, remember, it's a journey. It is a process. Learn the lessons, document the lessons along the way. Do your best, you and your team, to make the decision-making process a journey worth taking, a journey worth making, and learn lessons along the way to reach your desired outcome. There are quite a few lessons that we've learned today. There are 4 that I really want to highlight for us. Number 1, decision making is a journey with twists, turns, bumps, and detours. Just because the journey is long, that doesn't mean it's wrong. Please remember that. Number 2, learning lessons along the way contributes to your next decision and your next journey. As a matter of fact, by learning lessons along the way and documenting those lessons, you will increase your efficiency when it comes to your next decision making and the next journey that you take. Also, learning lessons along the way and improving our decision making helps prevent burnout with ourselves and our team. Number three, having a desired outcome is like having a North Star. It keeps us focused and helps us get back on track when we have to make those course corrections. When you make a decision, please make sure you have some idea of what the desired outcome is. And if you're part of a team or a group, make sure the team and the group know that desired outcome, have some buy-in in shaping that desired outcome, and understand how their actions and their decisions contribute to reaching that desired outcome. That desired outcome guides us. And number four, your decisions will have more assumptions than guarantees. Let me say that again. Your decisions will probably have more assumptions than guarantees. In other words, you may not be able to make the perfect decision. You may not be able to wait until you reach the point where I must be guaranteed that this is the right decision. You might have to take a few chances. You know, decision making involves a healthy level of risk taking. I'm going to tell you a secret. People would rather see you decide and then course correct if necessary than not decide at all. I hope these lessons have helped you. I hope you recall that decision making is a journey. I hope this lessons learned moment will just equip you, encourage you, and help you empower yourself to go forth and make more decisions and do the great work that you do. My team and I appreciate your support. We appreciate all that you do. Take care.